welcome to a new episode of Baking with Caroline and her mom. I'm Caroline, that's Mom.
Yeah, hi.
Today we're making something that Mom's had in her recipe folder for quite some time, but has never made. It is an easy apple tart with aged cheddar crust. Apples and cheese are an ideal combination.
A match made in heaven.
And it's pretty simple because all it uses is store-bought puff pastry. And then apples, cheese, rosemary, and flour and stuff.
Okay.
First step, Ball.
Turn on the oven.
2.
Good question. 375, and the man's been here and fixed it.
So actually 375.
Actually 375. Ooh. And you were supposed to put the oven rack on the bottom shelf. Yeah.
And then we have, it says an ungreased baking sheet, but we're just using a piece of parchment just in case.
Just in case it
overflows.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Then our first step is the puff pastry.
Yes,
right?
it is.
Put all the
packet has 2 rolls in it when you get it from the store, and it calls for half a package. So I'm guessing that's one roll. Okay. So I would put out the flour. Flour your surface first.
Flour your surface. Guys, putting my hand into the flour.
It's going to get worse. Well, it's dry.
It goes under your fingernails.
Yeah, you need to shorten your fingernails. Right, folks?
Well, it doesn't matter how short your fingernails are. They're still there, being fingernailsy.
Okay. Then unroll the puff pastry onto there.
Okay, and then we're unrolling the puff pastry onto the flour surface. Can you see?
Let's come closer, should we?
Oh, this side's sticky. We'll put this side down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so if you have to roll it out to a shape of 16 by 10.
So a rectangle.
Yeah, and what are its dimensions presently? Let's figure that out first so we can do some math.
Okay, its dimensions are 10 by 10.
Okay, so you just have to make it longer that way. It's square, in other words.
It's a square.
We're turning a square into a rectangle.
Now, I've been watching the Great British Baking Show, and they say that some pastries, if you press too hard, it just stretches it, but then they shrink in the oven. Is that a...
That's okay. That's okay. I would say all pastry shrinks in the oven.
Yeah, but then it doesn't maintain it doesn't get bigger, you know? Like even if you
Oh. Yeah, but this has layers. This is puff pastry. It's got layers baked in. I mean, not baked yet, but
folded into.
Yeah. Okay, try again.
It's getting very long over there. 13 and a half.
Oh, how wide is it now? Because it might have got wider.
Well, we're stabbing it with our measuring. 11.
Yeah. Wonder how you do that without, anyway, carry on.
I don't know.
And more flour on the rolling pin. No, that's sugar.
Can I just put flour on directly onto the...
Yeah, you can, not too much. And put your extra on a pile over there.
It's getting very wide at this end.
Yes. I think we might,
Trim?
No, I think we'll just go with the dimensions we've got.
Yes, I think that's a fine idea. It's rustic anyway, right?
Yes. That looks like 15 inches to me. Let's try that.
16, but okay.
Yeah, I know, but it's wider than it's supposed to be. So, it's about the volume. No, surface area. Something mathematical.
16, okay.
Right. I gently place on the, roll it on there and then. Lovely assistant time. Excellent. Woohoo! A little wrinkly.
Okay, and don't worry if it looks gigantic because we're folding.
Yes, we're folding up the edge.
We're basically making...
Sorry.
We're are you filming?
I was looking at the. I was
With your eyeballs?
No, with the.
We're basically making stuffed crust.
Yes.
A stuffed crust tart. Okay.
Yes.
So next I take half of the cheese and half of the rosemary, both of which we prepared earlier.
Yes. So the whole thing is a cup of aged cheddar and 2 teaspoons of chopped fresh rosemary. Caroline did a harvest.
You can't believe the rosemary's still alive.
Oh yeah, it's semi-hardy. Won't be until it gets super cold out there that it will die. Anyway, so she did a harvest. You're making a 1-inch border, right? And you're not putting it right against the very edge because you've got to turn it over. Yeah, I guess I should show this, shouldn't I?
Just taking a little sitting break.
Yes, I was. So Caroline's putting the cheese on.
Cheese.
Caroline.
Doing that thing where it melts to itself. You know?
yes.
That's cheese want to do. Become one with itself.
Yes.
And
Now,
half of the rosemary.
yes. And of course, rosemary is like little needles.
Stabby needles.
Stabby needles. So how did you cut it up, Caroline?
I used scissors.
Uh-huh.
It took me the same amount of time to cut up this much rosemary as it took Mom to peel and slice 3 apples.
Miss Perfectionist here.
Okay, you want there to be enough rosemary so that every bite has a little bit of rosemary. And now we're folding the pastry over.
Yes.
And pushing.
Yeah, you have to fold it across the entire cheese envelope.
And then seal it.
Yes.
Should we be sealing with some sort of...
It doesn't say to.
It doesn't.
No.
That's true.
Are you going to do a hospital corner?
No. I'm going to do both long sides.
Okay.
And then both short sides.
Okay.
Stuffed crust tart. Okay. Squish, 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 squish. Maybe I should do hospital corners. You might want to have left a little space in your corners, which I did not leave, for it to...
And so now it's double in the
Yeah, it's
corners,
double.
which will be double
Corners are
yummy. But that doesn't look shut there.
I'm going to go back over
Oh, okay.
and make sure all the edges are right. You know?
Mm-hmm. Phew, it's hot standing here.
Next
right
to the
in
oven.
front of the oven.
So I moved the cheese because I was like, oh, it's going to melt. There, how's that look?
I think that looks pretty good, yeah. Okay, so what do we do now?
We have to drain the apples and then
Yes,
mix
we
the
do.
apples with sugar and cinnamon and flour.
Yeah, we do. So I suggest you... Now the apples are in right now in water and a teaspoon of lemon juice to keep them from going brown.
Which sort of worked.
Yeah, you have to keep them sort of below the surface.
To weigh them down.
Yeah.
So I have a colander.
And then if you dry out the bowl, you can use it for the mixture.
That's a good idea.
And I would like to suggest that you open up that cloth that you've got there and put the apples on it just to catch any, to catch a bit more water. No, put it in the bowl like that, like a liner for the bowl.
But we have to add sugar and stuff.
Yeah, you're going to then tumble them out.
Ah.
Just going to get a bit more water off them.
So you're gonna...
Yeah. Well, you can even pick up the whole thing by the 4 corners and shake it a bit. Okay? What?
You're making potato latkes.
Except it's not potatoes and it's not latkes.
They're not squishing.
Yeah. And they're not squishing, right? We're just making them a bit, whoops, drier. Okay. So, back at the work surface, we need some sugar.
Yep, we need a recipe.
We do. The recipe calls for a quarter cup granulated sugar.
More rice to fill in.
I think that's the tiny one, isn't it? Yeah, that's the quarter cup.
It doesn't,
I know, it's rubbed off. It wasn't water resistant.
Dishwasher safe.
Yes, that's the word I'm looking for.
Okay, quarter cup of granulated sugar.
1 tablespoon of all-purpose flour.
No, that's a tablespoon and a half. Oh, we'll use the half a 1 tablespoon.
Normally you get all those things out before we start, right?
Yeah, but we only have like 4 ingredients. I didn't bother.
Okay, and a 1/4 teaspoon of ground cinnamon.
It's not a whole heck of a lot.
No, but the rosemary is going to be the predominant
Yeah, the flavor is cheese and rosemary and apple.
Yeah.
Cinnamon's just a
little bit of a kick.
complement to cinnariness. Half teaspoon, 1/8 of a teaspoon, 1/4 teaspoon. Well, you even have a sprinkly thing on your cinnamon.
I don't know. I think maybe some people just use cinnamon for things like the top of a latte, top of the marshmallows on hot chocolate, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that's not how we roll, is it, Caroline? No.
Okay, and then mix them together?
Yeah, with your hands. Yep. That's how it's going to get effectively done. Oh, here.
I'm doing it, it's happening!
Changing and growing, Caroline.
Ew. Apple under my fingernails.
That's good. Does it look like it's totally covered everything?
Yes.
Okay, let me see about the cheese and the rosemary. Is it supposed to go in as well now? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah, you're supposed to put the cheese and the rosemary in there with the apples, etc. Sorry.
Before you?
Yeah.
So the rest of the rosemary and the rest of the cheese.
Yes.
And this one I'm just going to use spoons for.
Okay. I'm just tumbling it all together, right? So you can use 2 spoons, like a salad.
Like a salad. That was the plan. And then you were all like, no, put your hands in. It'd
Well,
be
yes.
gross.
It's because I'm actually a sadist.
Okay. How's that look?
Oh, is everything attached to everything?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. So now you tumble it into the center.
Okay.
Making sure not to get on the crust.
Right.
I mean the edges,
Yeah. Fold.
Thank you. Of course, if you used your fingers, it would be easier.
No, it wouldn't.
And then you're going to smooth it out a bit.
Way more this than that.
Yes. Yeah, well, apples shrink down, right?
I don't know.
Oh, right. You've probably never made an apple pie in your life. Or apple crumble. Yes. Then you just flatten it out all over so that it's got about the same amount of appliness everywhere. Poor thing.
So?
Things we do for our
audience.
Yeah. Look, you can see this. Okay, how does it smell?
Pretty good.
All right, now we're putting it in the oven.
And that's it, right? Like then.
Yeah, then afterwards we have to
glaze it.
Glaze it with apple jelly left over from that tart we did in the summer.
And then Mom bought ice cream for us to use.
I did.
She went all out. She's very excited about this one.
I am, because I've had it in my repertoire unbaked for a long, long time.
Okay, it's going into the bottom of the oven. We don't have to like egg wash or anything?
Nope. Nope. For 30 to 35 minutes. Oh, sorry, I forgot to follow you into the oven that time.
Shut my head.
You just disappeared.
Okay, we'll see you in 30 minutes. Okay, so we put it in for an extra 10 minutes because it looked all weird and pale. And now I'm making Mom check because I don't know what it should look like.
Let's see here. Well, have a look. The crust is brown-ish. Yeah, the apples are, see how it's bubbling around the edges? We could put it in for another 5.
I don't know that it's gonna get golden though because we didn't, it's just, there's no egg wash or anything.
Yeah, I think it's probably okay.
Okay.
Wait a second, let's test the apples in the middle.
Okay.
Make sure that they're squishy.
Because they were thin enough anyway, right?
Yeah, they seem squishy.
Okay, so now we're gonna slide it onto a cooling rack and then we'll make the glaze.
We're gonna slide it right on here.
Yeah.
Another joy
Of parchment. Ah, yeah. Okay, so we're getting 2 tablespoons of our apple jelly. You could use apricot as well. And you can use jam, but you have to remove any fruit chunks. And then we're going to microwave this for 30 seconds.
I'm not going to show you our gross microwave.
Well, if the microwave's not gross, you're not using it. Microwave-based state is gross, right? Right?
Yeah, I guess it is, yeah.
And then we need our brush.
Yes, we do. How is it? I think it's probably kind of slumped down a bit now, hasn't it?
Yeah.
The apples have slumped.
Oh, it smells good. It smells like cheese and apple and pastry.
Doesn't smell like rosemary?
Not really.
Mm. Okay. I think we'll go over here and watch, shall we?
So this is what our microwaved glaze looks like.
Like that.
And then we're just dipping and glazing. Do you think I should do the pastry as well? No, we want it to be crunchy, right?
Right.
Can't really brush because it moves.
Yeah, just daub.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't want to get glazed. There we go. Okay, I think it's glazed. What do you think?
I'm now looking with the camera, and now I'm going to look with my eyes. It looks, yeah, it looks good.
Okay. So we're gonna let it sit for 10 minutes, and then we're gonna eat it with some vanilla ice cream. Mm-hmm. Hi! So we had our lunch, and now we're eating our dessert.
Bring it closer. Tip it a bit so they can see the
Okay,
plate.
tip it, it'll fall off.
There we go. Yummy! We each gave ourselves a corner.
And we weren't sure whether to use a spoon or a fork, so we have both. I think the fork might be the way to go.
Mmm. Oh.
Weird.
What a yummy, surprising yummy combination.
Yeah. And the rosemary really, like you couldn't smell it when it was cooking, but you can taste it.
But it's not overpowering or anything. It's
No.
just an additional.
Did you have did you have stuffed crust? I'm going into the stuffed crust right now. Oh, come on. That is so good. And it was so easy, you guys. The hardest part was like grating the cheese.
Well, the hardest part was putting your hands in it.
Don't remind me, I blocked it out.
Oh, yeah. You definitely have to use aged cheddar. We used 4-year-old cheddar for this, right? So that it comes through, you know?
It's sharp, right? It's got that little cheddary kick. Mmm. Really good. And then the rosemary makes it kind of taste like Christmas.
Yeah.
I think that's because we never have a Christmas tree. We have a little rosemary bush that we put our tiny ornaments on.
So rosemary smells like Christmas
Yeah.
to us, yes. It's, you know, pine for most people, rosemary for us. Okay, that's us, I think.
We're going to keep eating this.
We are. We each
Thanks
got
for
about this
watching.
next week.
See you next week. Bye.